Welcome back to the deep dive. It's really wonderful to have you with us wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether you're walking the dog, on a crowd train, or just, kicking back with a cup of tea. We're glad you're here. Today we're sort of shifting gears. We're slowing the tempo down. Usually we are just sprinting through these, complex theories or the latest tech news, but today we have a different kind of mission.
That's right. We are absolutely hitting the brakes on the information overload and focusing on something. Well, that's something really foundational. Today is for the learners. Specifically, if you're learning English or even if you just want to understand the mechanics of social interaction a little better, this one's for you. We are looking at a guide called Capybara's English, Mastering the Art of Self-Introduction.
Mastering the art. I really like that title. It elevates it, doesn't it? Because introducing yourself feels like it should be just the easiest thing in the world. I mean, you know your name, you know where you live,
Yeah.
you know what you do for a living, but when you have to do it in a second language,
It becomes a minefield.
oh, absolute terror.
It really is. It really is. It's that threshold, that moment right before you open your mouth to introduce yourself. That's where all the anxiety lives. Your heart rate goes up, your palms get a little sweaty, you worry about your accent, you start worrying about grammar. So our goal today isn't just to give you like a list of phrases, it's to dismantle that fear.
Exactly. We are going to deconstruct the self-introduction. We're using the dialogue between two characters from our source material, Emily and Paul, as our kind of case study. But we're going to go way deeper than just reading their lines. We want to understand the why and the how. We're treating this almost like building a character in a video game.
I love that analogy. It's perfect. When you play a role-playing game, an RPG, you start with a blank slate, right? You have to choose a name, you choose an origin, you choose a class or a job, and then you choose your skills or hobbies. The source material we have today suggests that real life is, well, it's exactly the same. A good self-introduction rests on 4 pillars: name, origin, occupation, and hobbies.
Name, origin, occupation, hobbies. It sounds so simple when you list them like that. But each one of those has traps.
Oh, absolutely. There are cultural traps, there are grammar traps, there are even psychological traps. But if you master these 4 pillars, if you have them in your pocket, just ready to go, you can walk into any room in the English-speaking world and survive.
Survival's a good baseline.
Yeah,
But we want to get them to thriving.
exactly. Thriving. That's the goal.
So let's start at the very beginning. The mission statement of the source text. Emily and Paul, they greet each other, but they immediately get down to business. They ask the fundamental question, what is a self-introduction?
And their answer is deceptively simple. I love this. They define it as telling people basic information about yourself.
Basic information. I want to pause on that word basic,
Yeah.
because I feel like learners often try to do way too much. They try to tell their whole life story in 30 seconds.
That is the #1 mistake. It really is. You meet someone, you're nervous, and suddenly you're telling them about your grandmother, your childhood pets, your philosophy on life. The source is telling us, stop, reel it back in. Just keep it basic. A self-introduction is a bridge, not a biography.
It's a trailer, not the movie.
Perfect. Yes, it's a teaser trailer. You just want to give them enough hooks to start a conversation. You don't need to be poetic. You don't need to be profound. You just need to be clear.
The source lists some specific contexts where this all happens.
Mhm.
School, work, parties, and this is the modern one, online.
You might meet someone online. That's what the text says. And I think that's so crucial because a lot of learners, they practice for these face-to-face interactions, but then they freeze up in a chat room or on a Zoom call.
So does the structure change? I mean, if I'm typing in a Discord server versus shaking hands at a cocktail party.
Structurally, no. And that's the beauty of the system. Those 4 pillars, name, origin, occupation, hobbies, they are, for all intents and purposes, universal. The delivery mechanism changes, of course. At a party, you've got body language and eye contact. Online, you have typing speed and emojis. But the data you are transferring, it's identical. If you master this script, you are ready for both.
Okay, so let's build our avatar. Let's start with pillar 1, the identity, the name.
The most fundamental piece of data you have.
The source gives us 2 ways to say this. And again, for a native speaker, we switch between these without even thinking. But for a learner, that choice, it matters. Option 1 is the classic. My name is.
My name is, yeah, this is what you learn on page 1 of every textbook ever written. Emily uses this in the source. My name is Emily.
It feels solid, Very formal.
It is solid. It's formal. It's grammatically complete. My name, that's your subject, is your verb. Emily, your object. You cannot be wrong if you say this. It commands a certain amount of respect. It announces your presence.
But then they give us option 2.
I'm. Now, let's look at this under the microscope for a second. Paul explicitly points out in the text that I'm is short for I am.
The contraction.
The contraction, yes. Now, why do we use contractions? I mean, is it just laziness?
I feel like it's about speed and maybe friendliness.
It's speed, yes, but it's also about distance. You've hit on something there. When I say I am, I'm keeping a little bit of formal distance. It sounds official. I am the president. I am your teacher. But when I say I'm collapsing that distance. I'm Paul. It's friendlier. It feels softer.
It's interesting you say that because the source explicitly notes, and I'm quoting here, both are correct and very common. It doesn't say one is better than the other, but there is a vibe difference, isn't there?
Oh, definitely a vibe difference. My name feels like a firm handshake. Feels like a smile.
I like that. A handshake versus a smile. It's a great way to put it.
And, for a learner, the contraction I am can be a little tricky to pronounce. You have to really smash the I and the am together. It's a slide. I'm.
Time.
Exactly. Whereas my name is very staccato. My name, H word, is clear. So if you are really nervous and you just want to be super, super clear, my name is probably safer. If you want to sound a bit more fluent, a bit more casual, you can try I'm.
Let's role play this for a second so the listener can really hear the difference.
Yeah.
I'll be the nervous learner sticking to the script.
Okay, and I'll be the relaxed native speaker. Go for it.
Hello, my name is host name.
Hi, I'm expert name.
Yeah, I can hear it right away. I sounded a bit stiff. You sounded breezy, natural.
But, and this is the most important part, you sounded correct. You sounded polite. You didn't make a mistake at all. You just chose the more formal option.
That is very reassuring. Okay, so we have established our name. We exist in the room now, but we're just a name floating in space. We need to ground ourselves.
We need coordinates. We need a location.
Pillar 2, the origin. Where are you from?
This is almost always the second question, isn't it? It's how we place people on our mental map of the world. The source gives us the formula. I am from.
Using that friendly contraction again. I'm from.
Right. And then you have to make a choice. The source shows Emily saying, I'm from the UK. And then Paul says, I'm from Australia.
So they're choosing the country level, the broad stroke.
Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're traveling or if you're in an international business meeting, the country is the most relevant unit of measurement. If I say, I'm from 23rd Street, nobody knows what that means.
No, not at all. But the source adds a really interesting detail here. It says, if you want to be more specific, you can say a city. And Paul gives the example. I'm from Sydney.
This is what I'd call the zoom in. And this is where a little bit of social intelligence comes in. You have to read the room.
So how does a learner know which one to pick, country or city?
Well, a good rule of thumb is to think about fame. Is your city famous? I mean, everyone knows Sydney. Everyone knows London, New York, Tokyo. If you're from a major global city, you can usually just say the city. I'm from Paris. You don't really need to say I'm from Paris, France. That would sound a bit redundant.
But what if I'm from a small town that no one's ever heard of?
Then you stick to the country. That's the safest bet. Or you can do a combo. I'm from a small town in Canada. That's a fantastic phrase for learners to keep in their pocket.
It invites a follow-up question too, doesn't it?
It does. That's exactly it. Oh, where in Canada? Now you're having a conversation. You are no longer just reciting a list of facts about yourself.
I want to ask about the preposition from. I'm from. Are there any other ways to say this?
Yeah.
Or should learners just stick with from?
Just stick to from, honestly. You might hear people say, I come from sometimes, but I'm from is the absolute standard. It is the safest, most natural way to express your origin. Don't overcomplicate it.
Okay, so we have name and origin. I'm name, I'm from place. Now we move to the third pillar. And I feel like this is where the identity starts to get really three-dimensional. The occupation.
The job. What do you do?
In some cultures, asking about work immediately is considered a bit rude, right? Too personal.
Oh, absolutely. In some parts of Europe or Asia, you might talk about food or family first. But in the English-speaking world, especially the US, UK, Australia, what do you do is standard operating procedure. It's often the very first thing we ask after the name. We tend to use jobs to categorize people.
That's a little bit intense, isn't it?
It is. It really is. But for a learner, you just need to accept it as part of the cultural script. People aren't trying to judge your salary. They're just trying to find some common ground.
So the source gives us two main ways to handle this, and I think the distinction is fascinating. Option A involves that identity structure again. I have a
Teacher. That's Paul's example. Or I'm a student. This uses the verb to be. It equates the person with the role, I equals teacher. It feels quite permanent. It feels like it's who you are.
But then look at Emily. She doesn't do that. She says, I work as a designer.
I work as. This is option B. And this uses the verb to work. It focuses on the function, the activity. It's slightly more detached, I think. I work as a designer suggests that designing is what I do, but maybe not the entirety of who I am.
Is that a distinction a learner really needs to worry about?
Functionally, no, not really. If you say, I'm a designer or I work as a designer, people will understand you perfectly. But psychologically, it's nice to have the choice. I work as sounds a little bit more dynamic, I think, just because it uses an action verb.
There's also a grammar trap in option A that we should definitely flag. I'm a teacher.
The article a.
Yes. In so many other languages, you would just say, I am teacher. Soit professeur, je suis professeur.
Right. But in English, that little a or an is absolutely mandatory. You cannot say, I am teacher. It sounds like a caveman talking. You must say, I am a teacher. Or if your job starts with a vowel sound, I am an engineer.
That's a really common mistake, isn't it? Forgetting that little article.
It's huge. And it's one of those small things that immediately marks you as a learner. If you can remember to hit that, hey, I'm a doctor, I'm a student, you sound so much more polished.
Now, there's a part of this section in the source text that I absolutely loved. It's what I'm calling the opt-out clause.
Oh, this is so important for your mental health, really.
It is. The text says, if you don't work or you don't want to say your job, that's okay.
I love that they included this.
Yeah.
Because not everyone wants to define themselves by their labor. Maybe you're unemployed and looking for a job. Maybe you're a stay-at-home parent. Maybe you're retired. Or maybe you just hate your job and you don't want to talk about it at a party.
So what do you say instead?
The source doesn't explicitly give a script for the opt-out, but based on the student example, you can just state your current status. I'm a student, I'm retired, or you can simply pivot to your interests.
That's a great tip. So if someone asks, what do you do, and you don't want to answer, you can just say, well, currently I'm really focusing on my photography, or whatever your hobby is.
Exactly. You are taking control of the narrative. You don't owe anyone your CV.
And that leads us perfectly into the fourth and final pillar. This is where all the color comes in. This is where we stop being a black and white sketch and become a full color painting. Hobbies and interests.
Adding flavor, as the text says. And the source defines a hobby very simply. Something you do for fun.
We get two sentence starters here. We have I like and I enjoy.
I like is the universal tool, right? You learn it on day one. I like pizza. I like cats. It works. It's functional. It gets the job done.
I enjoy. That feels different.
I enjoy is a level up. It implies a process. It implies savoring something. I enjoy feels a bit more sophisticated, a bit more adult.
Now, hold on. This is where the grammar gets tricky.
Yeah.
This is where I hear learners trip up all the time. The source has a very specific rule about what comes after these words.
The gerund rule, yes.
Paul says, after like or enjoy, we often use a verb ending in.
This is absolutely crucial. In English, when you turn a verb into a hobby, you usually have to add ing. You can't say, I enjoy read. You can't say, I enjoy watch movies.
Why not? I mean, read is the verb. Why do we need the ing?
Because the verb enjoy needs a noun. It needs an object. And that ing form, the gerund, it turns the action into a thing. It turns read the action to reading the activity. You enjoy the activity of reading.
Oh, okay. So reading acts like a noun. It acts like pizza.
Exactly. You've got it. I enjoy pizza. I enjoy reading. Structurally, they are the same sentence.
What about I like to read? I hear that a lot. Is that wrong?
That is not wrong at all. With the verb like, you have a choice. You can say, I like reading, or I like to read. Both are perfectly fine. But, and this is the big trap with enjoy, you do not have that choice. You cannot say, I enjoy to read.
You can't, really.
No.
It sounds terrible to a native ear, just clunks. I enjoy to read. No, it has to be, I enjoy reading.
That is a subtle but really powerful distinction. So if a listener wants to be safe, should they just stick to the ing form for both? Yes. That is the best strategy, 100%. If you always use ing after like or enjoy, you will always be correct. I like reading, correct. I enjoy reading, correct. The ing is the master key.
The source gives us a little list of examples to drill. And I want to look at the rhythm of these words because pronunciation isn't just about letters, it's about the beat.
The prosody.
Right. So let's look at the list. We have reading, watching movies, playing games, listening to music.
Can you hear that beat? Reading, watching, playing, listening. It's a very steady, rhythmic sound. If you can get into that groove, your English starts to sound so much more fluid.
And Paul gives a specific example for himself. He says, I enjoy drinking coffee.
Now, compare that to just saying, I like coffee, creates a picture of a cup of coffee. But I enjoy drinking coffee creates a picture of Paul. You imagine him sitting in a cafe, holding the cup, smelling the steam. The verb just brings it to life.
It's active. It's an experience.
It's experiential. That's the word.
And then Emily lists 3 things. She says, I like music, movies, and learning languages.
She's showing off a bit here. I like this. She is mixing nouns and verbs. Music is a noun, movies is a noun, but learning is a gerund. It's the ing form.
Is that allowed? Can you mix them like that?
Oh, absolutely. As long as the grammar works for each individual piece, you can stack them up. And actually, listing 3 things is a fantastic conversational tactic. It gives the other person 3 different hooks to catch on to.
Oh, you like music. What kind? Oh, you like movies. Have you seen anything good lately?
Exactly. You are casting a wider net for connection. It's very smart.
So let's recap our avatar. We have a name, we have an origin, we have a job title, we have a set of hobbies, we've built a full person. But now, how do we stop talking?
The exit strategy, the escape plan.
This is awkward for everyone, not just for learners. You finish your list and then there's just silence.
The dreaded awkward silence, you just stare at each other.
The source gives us the bookend, the phrase to close the loop. And it is, nice to meet you.
It's the period at the end of the paragraph. It's a clear signal to the other person. I am finished introducing myself, and now I acknowledge you.
And the source points out the social dynamic here. It says the other person might say, nice to meet you too.
That reciprocity is the key. It's like a tennis match. You've been serving name, origin, job, hobby, and now with nice to meet you, you are hitting the ball over the net. You're waiting for them to hit it back.
It turns a monologue into a dialogue.
Precisely. If you just stop after I like reading, the other person doesn't know if you're finished. They might wait for you to say more. But nice to meet you is the clear signal. Over to you.
I want to do a deep analysis of the case studies now. The source gives us the full text of Paul and Emily's intros, and I want to read them out loud, but I want us to really dissect the flow, not just the words, but the pacing.
Let's do it. Let's break it down.
Okay, here is Paul. I'm going to read it slowly. I want you to listen to the rhythm. Hi. My name is Paul. I'm from Australia. I'm an English teacher. I enjoy drinking coffee and reading books. Nice to meet you.
It's incredibly efficient, isn't it? It takes maybe, 8 seconds to say?
It's so fast.
But look at the density of information you get in those 8 seconds. 1, greeting, hi, super casual. 2, identity. My name is Paul, that formal anchor. 3, origin. I'm from Australia, gives context. 4, job. I'm an English teacher, defines his role. 5, hobbies. I enjoy drinking coffee and reading books, shows personality. And 6, closing, nice to meet you, the polite bookend.
It's a perfect little package. It's clear and natural, as the text says.
And notice the sentence length. They're all short. He doesn't use any complex conjunctions. He doesn't say, I'm from Australia, although I currently live in. No.
Okay.
He keeps it very choppy. Subject, verb, object. For a learner, this is so confidence building. You don't need long, complicated sentences to be effective.
Now let's look at Emily. She changes the variables just slightly. Hello, my name is Emily. I'm from the UK. I work as a designer. I like music, movies, and learning languages. Nice to meet you.
Okay, spot the differences. She starts with hello.
Is hello really that different from hi?
It's a tiny bit more formal. Hi is very casual. Hello works with your boss. Hi works with your friend. But really, in most settings, they're interchangeable. It's not a big deal.
Then she says, I work as a designer. We talked about that. The function over the identity.
And notice her hobby list again. Music, movies, and learning languages. It has that rhythm of 3. Done, done, and done. That rule of 3 is just very pleasing to the human ear.
But despite these small differences, the skeleton is absolutely identical.
Exactly. And that's the big lesson here. You can swap out the bricks. You can change hi to hello. You can change I'm a puke to I work as. But the wall is built the same way. The structure is what holds it all up.
Now, even with a perfect structure, things can still go wrong. The source material has a great troubleshooting section, common mistakes to avoid.
I love when sources do this. It's like, here are the potholes in the road. Don't step here.
The first one is what they call the to-be trap. The source identifies a specific error. My name Emily.
My name Emily. We hear this constantly.
Why? It seems so obvious to us that it's missing a word, but why is that such a common mistake?
Because in many, many other languages, Russian, Arabic, a lot of Asian languages, you don't need a connecting verb in the present tense. You literally say, my name is Emily, but you just skip the is. The concept of to be as a mandatory link just doesn't exist in the same way.
So the learner is translating their native grammar directly into English word for word.
Exactly. They are thinking name equals Emily, but English demands that glue. You need the verb, my name is Emily, or I am Emily.
So if you're a listener and you catch yourself saying, my name, John, just stop, rewind, add the is. My name is John.
It's the difference between a list of words and a proper sentence.
The second piece of advice in the troubleshooting section is it's deeply psychological. It's all about the accent.
This is the big one. This is the thing that keeps learners awake at night.
Emily says, don't worry about your accent. And Paul follows up with what I think is the golden rule of this entire guide. He says, being clear is more important than being perfect.
I want to tattoo that on my forehead. Being clear is more important than being perfect.
So why is that such a hard pill for learners to swallow?
Because we judge ourselves against native speakers. We watch movies, we listen to podcasts like this one, and we think, I don't sound like that, therefore I am failing. But Paul is flipping the script entirely. He is saying, did I understand you? Did I get your name? Did I get your job? If the answer is yes, then you succeeded. Mission accomplished.
So your accent is just another piece of data about you.
Exactly. If you say, I'm from France, with a thick French accent, that's actually helpful information. It reinforces the message. It adds authenticity.
So the goal isn't to erase your accent. It's just to enunciate enough that the information gets across the line.
Correct. Don't mumble, don't rush, but do not apologize for the sound of your voice.
Speaking of rushing, that brings us to the final piece of practical advice from the source, the practice time.
The interactive portion of our show.
The text explicitly tells the listener, practice time. And Paul gives a crucial tip on pacing. He says, you can speak slowly. That's okay.
You can speak slowly. Oh, this is so important. I think so many learners equate speed with fluency. They think if I talk fast, then I sound like a native.
But actually, talking fast when you're nervous just makes you stumble over your words.
It makes you mumble. It makes you swallow the ends of your words. Speaking slowly shows confidence. It shows you're in control of the time and the space.
So we aren't going to make you, the listener, pause the deep dive right now, but I want to do a guided visualization. I want to walk you through this process, applying that slow mindset.
Let's do it. So imagine you are walking into a party, you don't know anyone. Someone approaches you with a drink in their hand and smiles.
Okay, step one. They look at you. You need to greet them and establish your identity.
Take a breath. Don't rush it. Say, hi, I'm your name. Feel the contraction, I may.
Step two, they nod. Now you need to ground yourself, your origin.
I'm from. Choose your level, country or city. I'm from.
Nice and slow. Step three, give them a hook. Your job or your current status.
Remember the I'm a, or I work as, or if you're opting out, I'm focusing on.
Step four, add some color. 1, 2 things you love to do.
I like, or I enjoy, and remember the ing, not I enjoy read, I enjoy reading.
And finally, step 5, the serve. Pass the conversational ball.
Look them in the eye, smile, nice to meet you.
And breathe. You did it.
You survived the interaction, and more importantly, you started a relationship.
The source ends with a final piece of advice. Practice your self-introduction every day.
It sounds a little tedious, doesn't it? Every single day. But think about muscle memory. Athletes practice the same swing thousands and thousands of times so that in the game, they don't have to think about it.
You want this to be automatic. Because when you're nervous, your conscious...
Exactly. If you practice this constantly in the shower, in the car, while you're cooking dinner, then when you are actually in front of a real person, you won't be thinking about subject, verb, object. You'll just be thinking about the person. And that, right there, is true fluency.
So let's wrap this all up. What is the big takeaway here? What does this all mean for our listener?
I think if we connect this to the bigger picture, mastering these 4 sentences, name, origin, occupation, hobby, it's not just about grammar. It's about unlocking the world.
How so? That's a big claim.
Think about it. This 4-part structure is the key. If you have this key, you can open the door to any room. You can walk into a business meeting in New York, a hostel in backpacker Europe, or a Discord server for gamers. You have the tool to say, I exist, I am here, and I am ready to connect.
It transforms you from just an observer into a participant.
Exactly. Without an introduction, you're a ghost. You're just watching life happen. With an introduction, you are a player in the game. You have an avatar. You're on the board.
That is a really powerful thought. The tool is so simple, 4 little sentences. But the result is existence.
And connection, which is, at the end of the day, why we learn languages in the first place, isn't it?
Well, I hope this deep dive has given you the confidence to build your own avatar. Don't just listen to us. Go write your script. Practice it in the mirror.
Be clear, be slow, and be yourself.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.